Welcome back, growers. It is Wednesday, July 9th, and we are here to learn as we grow. Today we're talking about gardening away from home. I'm so sorry I'm late for those of you waiting in the live chat. I appreciate your patience. I had an important phone call. Think you need a backyard to garden? Think again. I've grown food in borrowed spaces. I have not done a community plot, and there's a reason for it. In places you'd never expect. I'd never guerrilla gardened that I know of. I'm pretty sure I have never guerrilla gardened. So today I'm going to share exactly how you can do it too. I'm just going to share what works for me, right? Whether you have no land or just want to expand your growing game, this episode is all about gardening beyond your own backyard. Because yes, I have a garden away from home. It takes 15 minutes or more to get there. So I'm going to just kind of walk through the planning process. I have some of the things next to me here that we'll show off. We'll kind of go over a checklist and, of course, hang out in the chat with you lovely people to get our watch hours. We have a countdown going to get to 3,000. So I know I saw some of my favorite people. Jay Dixon says good day to all from Huron County, Midwestern Ontario, Canada, in the lee of Lake Huron. Thank you for saying that I will be momentarily in. I couldn't just hang up the phone. Bow tie, bow tie, bow tie. So there was a show I missed. I don't remember what I was doing. It was on Emmanuel's channel, and I think he interviewed Gardner Scott, and I think the podcast is called Growing Generations. And I haven't hit the replay yet. Bowtie is trying to accurately interpret what my conversation was like. Yeah, you don't say. Yeah, who was that? They didn't say. Um, and he is admitting that he did use some help to find the questions. And I'm sorry to keep you up. You may go if you need to and watch the replay, of course. And what's the crowns looking like? Jay's number 1, Bowtie's number 2. And if you need to sleep, you can sleep. Bowtie says, I had slept in the recliner for an hour and then literally just laid down in bed 30 seconds before I got your message. Dave Knight, my phone went off. Shawnee is on live. Yes, thank you for coming in. I'm going to talk about how I kind of get ready to garden away from home to have success. Because it's a bit different, right? Like, I hadn't checked on the garden. I hadn't done anything, I think 8 days in a row, which is hard to get used to. Yes, I am here now. Are you talking to me? About the garden party podcast question? Or what is this? I put in 24 hours today and about 6 yesterday working. Thank you for saying that I am live now, because sometimes it doesn't load correctly. Bowtie is going to sleep in the dentist chair in the morning. Well, yeah, I don't usually talk about the specifics of the agreement. I don't know if I should. So, the agreement with the land that I garden on is limited. Like, I have 11 gardens out there, and I was told to stop this year, to just no more breaking new ground. But we'll see what happens next year. If I can convince them a couple more, we'll see. I don't have a plan for any yet, but winter I get pretty bored and we come up with some fun things, right? So, got cut off on starting more spaces. I have to be very strategic on how I film for operational security, right? So that's kind of why you don't see a lot of like the camera and me talking at the camera and then like the camera watching me garden, because I can't have anything that I'm not allowed to have in the background of the video. So that makes it kind of difficult. They are allowed to have part of the harvest, but they kind of don't eat a whole lot of the things I'm growing. They have their own diet. The whole family is allowed to pick from the garden, if that helps answer your question, Bowtie. My name is not on the land right now. I don't live there. I asked you where you plot in the other place. I know you protect your privacy. Someone take Bowtie's crown away. Um, Emmanuel Aker Gardening Online, Growing Generations podcast featuring Gardner Scott. Catch it on the replay. The Wickershire Project's awake. Gardening away from home equals me picking out the seeds from any veggie I get a hold of being served to me raw. I had gotten a watermelon. This one was from the store. And then I also have one that came from a produce truck stand thing. And if I find a nice black mature seed, I am saving it because I am working on my landrace watermelon patch. So I'll add it to the seeds to plant next year. And it's good to see you. Bowtie says I guerrilla garden whenever I get the chance. I should start putting seeds in my pocket when I go out in the woods because I have a lot of different places I like to go because I'd rather be at the forest than the sandy beach. Tell you that. I've talked about that before here. I always joke with Bowtie about taking his crown. Wickershire Project says, Bowtie, does that include tossing seeds over into the neighbor's yard? I feel like that's called guerrilla gardening, right? Is Dave number one? You are. Um, okay, so there kind of needs to be some organization when you garden away from home. And that goes all the way back to planning the crops list, where things are going to go, understanding the land. I needed to know, where does water flow on the property? Is there water access? Yes, there's a well, and I have a rain barrel stashed out there that is full right now. Um, I also needed to know how much hose I needed to get to the spaces. How many buckets do we need to haul water to spaces where the hose doesn't reach? Because, like I said, I have 11 gardens. Now, luckily this year, we've had rain consistently, so only one time, one garden, two gardens really needed water. And there is a sprinkler that can get turned on and does this. It's that kind, you know? It's not the kind that does it like this. I can't think of the words for these tools right now, but follow me here. And so you would put that on and then like go weed or harvest or something and then turn it off. Like every minute of your time, you need to be doing something. The other part to this is planning the jobs out so you can work in order. Like if I need to bring something with from my house to the garden, having it loaded and ready to go in the van. Getting there and getting to the garden shed. I have a garden shed out there, thankfully, so I'm not hauling a gorilla cart and a stirrup hoe and a shovel with me every time. Those things can stay there. But loading up the cart with all the tools, the seeds, sometimes a watering can of water just to get to the space to work as much as possible, because for those of you that don't know, I also have 3 children that come with me. So, yes, I need to stop and help them every single time, which is normal. But now we're at the point where they're helping. So they get paid to fill a bucket. I keep hearing stuff. I'm making sure there isn't like someone outside. The dog's not barking. I don't know if you can see him. Okay, so gear and supplies, portable garden tote or backpack. So what I usually have filled, it just stays filled. Essential hand tools, trowels, pruners, gloves, watering can, collapsible hose, mulcher, straw, easy to carry for moisture control. So what I have is a caddy, and it always stays like this. So I did not prep this for the show. You get to just see how it looks right now, okay, everybody? There's a random broken pot in here. I told myself I would keep my tools clean this year. Look how well we did with that. And I even have the 3-in-1 oil for my tool, and it's not even been opened. I have a pen. I don't even know if it has ink. I have some string that I've never opened because I was going to do straight lines, and I used boards instead. I have my Milwaukee knife. This is the basic one that's like a box cutter. I have one that's a straight full blade with a screwdriver on it. That's in my backpack. And then hemp. there's little of these mesh bags because I was going to fill them with compost and put it in a bucket while I was out there and make some compost tea and fertilize the crops. Guess who hasn't done that yet? I have some popcorn that I will plant next year because I planted enough. I have a pack of sunflower seeds. I can't show what that label says. That would be bad. And a syringe to inject plants with something, just in case. I have something to cut myself with. I gotta not do that. A pack of sunflower seeds, a pack of cowpeas and cilantro, radish, tom thumb peas, 2 more kinds of peas, this tool here. Okay, whatever that's called. Some more peas. I need to do fall peas at some point. That's why these are all in here. And then some plant tags that I also never used this year because they annoy me. So this is just to go to the site. I also have a harvest apron. And if I need more than that, then it gets added to it. I'm stuck. Hold on. I also have Neptune's Harvest fish emulsion sitting there at the garden because I really was going to be on top of my fertilizer game this year. Haven't done that. A clipboard because I'm a clipboard person. It's supposed to have my list on it of what I'm supposed to be doing out there that day, but my kids drew Elmo on one side and it's crumpled up in my van somewhere. And then, which I encourage them to draw. I'm not mad. This is how I document what I did. So it's my planner that I use for what subjects my kids did that day, what family events we did, what science projects we did, what if I used to keep track of what books we read, but I don't do that anymore. And now I've just started to put what was the garden task I did. So originally I had just one of those free calendars that you get from like the bank or the hardware store. You know how they give them out? I'm trying to fix my cord. Every year. And in that, I would write when I sowed something, when I transplanted something, when I fertilized something. And I really liked having it separate. But honestly, at this point this year, it's just going to stay in my planner. And if I move it to its own gardening calendar, then huzzah at that point. Seed packets or starter plants, notebook or garden journal for tracking visits and tasks, plant labels and markers, organic fertilizer. So the compost situation is another whole thing. I do have a compost pile here at my house. At some point, we are going to move to somewhere. We don't have a house bought yet, but we've been looking for years. And I have finished compost, plus I'm adding to it because I told myself I'm just going to start taking all my scraps out to the garden. That hasn't happened because change is hard. So usually, like I top dress my potatoes with a couple 5-gallon buckets of compost that I just grabbed from home and hauled there with me. So that was on my checklist. There is a compost pile there at the garden. It is a trench style. So we layer everything in a trench and it's connected to where that strawberry bed is that I need to remodel entirely. A trash bag or bucket. There's 2 buckets in my vehicle currently, plus the garden shed has buckets in it. So let's go back to the chat before I keep talking. Because possibly something's in here that should be spoke about, and there's possibly new eyeballs in here. I gotta figure out where we left off. Bowtie's like, did anyone see my loofah last year? New Horizons above and beyond. Hi, I'm new here to this chat. How's everyone doing? It is great to see you. Welcome. I hope you liked the way you've been treated so far while I've been talking. Sometimes we do a more like strong educational planned out with photos and videos live stream, but this week I'm just trying to get some hours because I have a goal to get 3,000 watch hours, and whatever comes to my mind and what I should talk about when I get the time to come online is what we're riding with. And today I was in a conversation. It was at that garden party podcast place with like the Texas garden guy and Phil's Figs and Josh Gardens, I think is his name. and they were kind of taken aback by you garden away from home. And I was like, we should maybe talk about this. And so here we are doing that. Wickershire project: without water, just give up or just live where there's more than 50 plus inches per year. Anything with wheels and me sitting in it is also called a gorilla cart. Oscillating sprinkler. The one that does this. It's a rainbow thing. Yeah. I do have a stuffed animal and a dog. So, dog, stuffed animal. Uh, and then, yeah, I have a backpack that I take with me, which isn't technically garden related, but there's garden things in it, I'm sure. I bet you anything there's a garden thing in that backpack. Um, that could be a live stream in itself. What's in Shawnee's backpack? And then I have a tote bin. I'm going to talk about what I harvest into tonight. One of these, and it's filled with bug spray, bug bite cream, um, sunburn spray, sunscreen. I usually bring that with too. Like today, I actually got there at 8:30 in the morning. I had jeans on and a t-shirt, and I would have done a long sleeve if I had one because of bugs. And everything was wet from the dew, which is great, right? Yeah, this thing is filled. My caddy, when it's go time, I have so many packets of seeds in there, you know? That's how I get it. Bowtie says knife: defense against stray Santa elves while wandering close to Santa's workshop at the North Pole? Question mark. No, it's a Korean garden tool. The one is a hori hori, and the other one is like a weeding scythe. That might not be the term. Japanese weeding tool. I don't know what it's called. Oh, see, R is here. My cord came loose from where I clipped it, and I'm sorry that this is a thing I have to fidget with. There we go. Hi. Wickershire project. Oh, there is a soil additive we will test out for grow bags. What? Tend to dry out too much. I think it's called polyacrylate, like a gel, and absorbs 10 times more of its volume in water. Well, experiments are fun. I don't have anything in grow bags. I have a garden technically here at my house too, which is a whole nother conversation. Yes, we like that we drop each other's channel links. Dave says I use my John Deere calendar. It has the moon phases. We have a full moon tomorrow, and we talked yesterday in my tour of books that I own for gardening conversations on what the full moon's name is. Does anybody remember? Yeah. Hori, homie. I don't know what that is. A simple happy life. Good to see you. Welcome to the chat. Thank you for supporting the channel. New Horizon says, yeah, I'm trying to buy a place in Georgia to be close to friends and family members. Yeah, I hear you. I'm trying to get my hours also. Well, we can send as many people as we can over to New Horizons Above and Beyond to watch some playlists. Of course. See, I was watering some containers. Yeah, all my container gardening is here. Where I actually live, because that stuff needs to be watered sometimes twice a day. I have to keep an eye on it where I'm not at the garden site every day. Because, gas and stuff, time, energy. Bowtie says, oh, my loofah was the ultimate in guerrilla gardening last year. Loofah ate my garden and my neighbor's garden. Whoa, we have Tasmania Island Life checking in with saying boomerang girl. Thank you for your support. Bowtie says, I think that's a pillow. It's still too still to be a dog. It's his bedtime, like an hour and a half ago. But he's down here still with me instead of in his room. Wickershire Project talks about macronutrients of NPK, nitrogen, potassium, and oh no, it left my brain. Silence. Sorry, I forgot. I completely forgot the other macronutrient. Okay, issues with many backyard gardens is feeding plants and not soil microbes. Absolutely. Amish have super regenerative soil and crop rotate 4 years with 1 year of rest. Horse manure for them is key. Yeah, I love regenerative conversations. I love the soil food web with mycorrhizae fungi and rhizophagy communication of the root and the soil, and feeding the soil microbes with compost tea drenches, having diversity in plant families in a square foot space in the soil, roots in the ground always, and having it covered, and um, biochar, right? Worm castings. I am live, Outback Tasmania. We have things to say and hours to build. We are in a competition. Wickershire Project says, I know super guilty of buying bags of box store garden supply that are like temporary fixes for growing, not a long term solution. Sometimes, like I was talking to a gardener, and she's like, I just buy all my plants, transplant them. And I said, that's gardening. You don't have to have a grow station and start everything from seed. Radio Jonesy says, my favorite racing partner? Vroom. What does this say? Shawnee Gardens. The weeding scythe is a Korean garden tool. I looked it up. Yes. I don't think it has the... I used it for, that was loud probably, weeding. Oh, look, it even has strange foreign... Yeah, it's supposed to have the guard on it, which is in the box. But I didn't clean the tool or put the guard back on. Whoops. It's the Shawnee moon. That would be really cool. I have people, someone asked me just yesterday in a chat, do you live in Shawnee? Which there's a couple places, towns called Shawnee, if you don't know, if you're not from the United States. And I said, nope, but I get asked that a lot. Janet Potter, welcome to the conversation. Bowtie says, we are so humid here that my grow bags never dry out. CR says, like those pink peonies or peonies. Storms, radios, and cats. You found me over here on my channel. Hi. New Horizons above and beyond. Yeah, I had done some live streams last week. I'm going to be doing a test live stream either tomorrow or Friday sometime with my new equipment that I'm getting from my YouTube channel. Live streams have been the thing that gets me hours, tell you that. Plus, it's easier for my life to do a live stream. Okay. Botai says, Shawnee grows. Stop trying to dig a hole in the couch. Sorry. Have you had any unexpected help, neighbors, wildlife, weather that saved the day? So the property owner noticed some pepper plants were drooping and watered them. There's been deer last year that chewed up 2 trees. So I did cattle panel hoop them with T-posts and zip tie. Just 2. Just the 2 they started chewing on. None of the other trees have been touched. And then I was out there one day and a bunch of deer just watched us and then left. They were young. They didn't even know what they were doing or where they were going or which way was north. The weather has been extremely windy, and it is an area that has a history of tornadoes. I haven't had any hail damage yet. Usually that happens. That saved the day. The rain, it raining, so I don't have to do it. CR's talking to Barry. Says, hey, here we go. J, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Yeah, I couldn't remember the other P. Thank you. Tammy Harder, welcome to the conversation. Wickershire Project, container garden, you have to add mulch once the plants are tall enough. If your plants do poorly, most likely the soil is drying out and heating up and cooling too much. Basically, stress responses. So my containers that I have here at home, metal wash bins that have holes drained in the bottom. One is a plastic, I'm going to call it, it's like a whiskey barrel, but it's plastic. We had to drill extra holes in the bottom. They were up on blocks too, but I just moved them to a shadier spot, which I'll probably put in the video of what's going on. But I haven't put the bricks under them yet. I have a terracotta pot. I have plastic pots. I have old tree nursery pots. And then I have green stalks. I think that's everything I have for containers. And then whatever comes out of the earth is the situation that we have going on out front. The one in the back is about to just get mowed. I did plant grass in the other two gardens because, like I said, we're trying to kind of prepare the land to not live here. Dave says, after 37 years, I am self sufficient in soil and seeds. I bought my place at 26. You're smart, Dave. I wish we bought something. Um, I'm not going to say how many years ago, but I wish we would have bought something, even if it was tiny, and then we could have had it, like, we could have rented it out and moved on, or we could have sold it. I don't know. I wish I would have done that differently if I could go back, that's for sure. Um, Talking about building soil, Compost Everything is celebrating the 10-year anniversary. It's one of David the Good's books. It helps you kind of think of ways to make more compost or to do what to do with the little compost that you can create to make it go longer in your garden. Um, so check that out if you'd like. Oh no, Bowtie has a question. What inspired you to start gardening remotely instead of keeping everything closer to home? So last year we were like, yeah, by the end of the year we're gonna have a house bought, and the thought of me. Okay, first we had to figure out when can we move because I have a garden. Like I put garlic in the ground in October and I don't harvest it till July. So when am I gonna move? With my garlic in the ground. Like that was one of the examples of but I garden. You want me to just not garden? That just felt not okay with me. So we had asked a property owner, can I garden here? And it blew up into I have perennials, I have new spaces, things just for flowers. And the big push was because I need to move. Um, the thing that opened up on the land was my mother died. So I'm growing in her garden, but that one that's been there since I was little isn't doing well. And we're going to talk about that in the garden tour coming up, how I just want to burn it all down. But I'm able to do all those other experiments and all the other spaces. So uh if for some reason, like if that didn't have happened and we were moving, I would do my container gardening and I would still change the yard back to a yard in preparation to be available to buy a house and move any time of the year. I looked at doing a community plot and they just are hard in my area to manage. You have to set a boundary, you need to test the soil. You need to understand that not everybody is going to take a weed out before it goes to seed. I mean, every single weed and bug was in the community gardens that I toured. And that was just like, you're already not going to see it every day. It's just a huge struggle. So, also, when you move, you need to watch your new land for a year and all the seasons and all the cycles and where sun and shade lines are and where water goes. So again, that's where that container gardening is beneficial in the new space too. So, um, if I didn't have the land I have the opportunity to garden on now, I would be gardening in my rental still in containers. And then just not have as big as stuff and be sad, to be honest, because that'd be sad. Jay is explaining my lovely goal of we're on the road to 3,000 watch hours, and the way the studio adds up stuff is it hasn't added anything up past July 4th, which is like, it's weird. It just does it that way. So I need 226 as of July 4th, but I've been live in between then and now, so it'll start totaling it up as we go, and I will be continuing to add like a countdown to let everybody know when we hit it, because once we get 3,000 we get to unlock awesomeness here on the channel, and I'll be announcing all the other things coming with that once I have approval from the YouTuber people. Radio Jonesy says another day working outside in 0 Celsius and it was -2 Celsius earlier. Sounds wonderful, Jonesy. New Horizons Above and Beyond. Yeah, I'm so far away from 3,000 watch hours. It's the live streams. That's what I was told, and that's what I believe in now that I've done it. Um, since October, I've been live streaming. Wickershire Project, Dave grows like a pro. Bowtie says, it's got to be less than that, Jay. I've added 6 watch hours yesterday and another 22 and a half today. It takes a few days for those hours to register, though. Yeah, it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's 5 days difference. Always. It doesn't change. It's always 5 days. Wickershire is jealous of Bowtie's gardening videos. Yeah, his climate is much different than yours and mine. CR says, I chopped the stalks and dropped a leg. Moved to Tasmania. My child would like to visit Tasmania. Dave Knight, I am the end game, Bill. It can be done. The Wickershire Project off grid. Scott was right. Tarp it all. Yeah, I was talking to David the Good, because I have popcorn growing in the garden that I want to burn, and dried beans and carrots that I care about. Everything else, it doesn't matter. And the previous methods used, I'm not doing that there at this time to deal with this problem. So my intention, what you guys will see this on the video, the terribleness of this garden situation, because part of gardening away from home is lowering your expectations. Just FYI. Um, I want to put fire to it to kill the top growth and then tarp it and solarize it for a month. And honestly, I want to cover crop it after that. I haven't ordered something to tarp it with, though, that allows water to go through. I have a test spot that I just had some plastic, like, what was it, 6 mil? Stuff that I use for in the house for emergencies and things to plastic something up quick, and it's clear, and I feel like it's not doing what it's supposed to do. Yeah, I think there's some playlists. I try to have playlists that make sense. CR says, I'm allowing the sunflowers to have some lively mulch. Bowtie says, our community garden is 4 blocks from the house. I'm not sure I could find motivation to go even that far. Well, it helps that I'm driving, not walking, but like there's a second community plot up the road from me, and I don't want to grow there. I'd rather grow where it's just me growing, because I'm controlling, I guess, right? Oh my goodness, it's Howie, Food Forest Permaculture. Greetings, Shawnee and fellow Earthlings. Hello, good to see you. Yeah, Wickershire Project Community Gardens equals hair pulling. No way I can or would trust anyone 100% on point about neglect, then that rolls over onto your area. Absolutely. And then, like, depending on where you are, where your square is in the plot, if somebody else's stuff is like totally blocking what you need, like the sun, for example, we'll say, because you don't know what they're going to put in theirs. And I've seen a beautiful garden in church property, which there should be tons more gardens on church properties, but there's some legality with that around here. And yeah, the trust and the whole, like I said before about it, stresses me out. And then I've seen on YouTube people that community garden, and it's not like that at all there. They have huge space. I don't even know if they had to pay a fee to use the space. Nobody, like, everything's really well taken care of. It's a whole different situation on some places that I've seen. CR says, I helped a friend make a compost do-it-yourself bin. I love that. That's great. Jay says to Bowtie, my community garden plot is 5-minute walk away, and I was there 4 times today. If I had to walk there with all my stuff, I would have a bigger wagon, I guess. Bowtie has a goal, everybody, trying to get to 4,000 right now. That is the big one where you get AdSense after that. That will be my goal next We like to work in the small increment goals to have it achievable and get an accomplishment under our belt. So make sure you're streaming playlists over there for Bowtie Life in the Garden. I don't know what his total is right now, but I don't know what Radio Jonesy says, and I'm still standing in the. You should be still working, I'm assuming. Bowtie would like to go visit Tasmania. Well, take a cruise there, Mr. Cruiser. I want to meet Bugs Bunny. Oh, and the Tasmanian devil, you say? I said I'm still standing outside in the cold and it is freezing, but I am being warmed by the door set turns on the wonderful Shawnee Gross. Says gross. You must be talking to the phone. Send them over for the holidays. Radio Jonesy. I was looking at, I don't think I have it next to me. They make this thing called Toob, Toob, and it's themed animals because one of my kids likes dioramas, and I got him the equipment to build diorama stuff, kid versions of it today. There's more coming. And I was going to give him the Australian version where it's all Australian animals in it, but I haven't. I went with the Great Lakes, and I don't remember what the other one was. And then we have Arctic and Antarctica coming next. It's going to be the next one after I get some work under my belt. Because he loves animals so much. That's not the one that wants to go, though. The older one wants to go to Tasmania. I don't remember what his answer was. Oh, I just asked him the other day. I'll have to ask him again. Storms is having popcorn. Okay. Wickershire Project Off-Grid. NPK. N. Nitrogen is always the first to get used up. P and K. Potassium and phosphorus in USA soils is in good supplies. If I'm gonna garden, I'm all about nitrogen levels. Well, you have to think about micronutrients too. Like macro is NPK. Micro is iron, boron, calcium, magnesium, blah, 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 right? It all matters. There's the David the Good channel. Yeah, I don't have any left. I only have, see this curtain behind me, either one? That's the only size I have left in my roll, and the garden is like a 10 by 30. So I need to buy something. The water has to be withheld too. It helps the process faster I know, but then it's sitting there and pooling up and making more mosquitoes. I want it to drain. um, yeah, I want to get the black. It's my phone in here. I haven't ordered it. It's just in my cart. I think it's called DeWilt. Why won't you do what I want you to do? Here we go. Because I have my tarps for camping, and I would need more than one, and I don't, it's like that has a job already. Its purpose is to be available for camping, not on the garden. Trying to get to my cart, but my phone's really slow because it's really full of stuff. DeWitt Sunbelt Woven Ground Cover. I was gonna buy that. So I guess if that's wrong, you better let me know. Jay, Shiny Girls, question. Do you keep temporary and or long-term notes on each garden? Yeah, so that's a good question. I haven't thrown anything away that I've wrote down. So I started gardening for real, seriously. Well, my oldest is 7, so 7 years ago. And I used to like write down, this is what I'm going to try. Well, this is what wrong with it in notebooks, right? And I still have them. Then I switched to what I talked about earlier with the calendars that you get for free places and just would write in that date square what was happening. I used to actually write down the variety and names specifically of everything I was planting. And for the last 2 years, I have gotten so lazy with record keeping because I could just go into my, like, pick a seed company. I could go into my profile and pick and look at what I ordered. It's in there. I could print that sheet off and it'll have the seed names, but it doesn't have the notes of did it do well or not? Did the bugs like it or not? So I need to get back and find a better way to keep track, because here's the second part to this story. The garden that I'm gardening on now, that's 30 years old. Yeah, I think it's been gardened for 30 years. I have all of my mother's notes on what was planted and what she liked to plant there. And it's wrote down her way. Like, it's kind of hard to get through it. It's not wrote out in a super organized fashion, but I have that stack of history. And so now what I need to do, and the property owner told me this, is make a blueprint for all the perennials that I have out there, because those tags on all the trees aren't going to last forever. Because eventually my kids will have this property if all goes well, right? So I need to make a hard copy of all the things I've put in the last 2 years that'll stay there. Now, the annuals is a different story. We do seed save from, like, we have seeds that my mom saved, and then we plant them and save them from the thing we planted, and we put them in the freezer and we label them. So I would like to do a better job at the specific notes on whether I would grow that kind of pea again. Because I eventually, when you garden for a long time, you develop I only plant these kinds of peas, this variety, or this kind of tomato because it works here in my climate and it produces the right amount for me. Like, that's what I need to narrow down. I'm still in this experimental throw stuff at the wall and try every single kind phase, and then now I'm not keeping record of it. Is now my videos the record of it? It could be. I could also get better at labeling things. Yes, okay, this is what you're saying works really well, is the black tarp. Thank you. Oh, he's explaining the word, Radio Jonesy. Is it dulcet or dulcet? I think it's dulcet tones refer to soft, sweet, and soothing sounds, often describing a pleasant voice. I could wrangle up enough cardboard. I did newspaper last year in part of the space, and that I didn't like the way that felt or looked or the process at whatsoever. And all the leaf mulch has been composted. We did a huge heavy leaf mulch on this specific one this last fall, but there's a thing in the soil, a seed that came from a woods land that is my arch nemesis, and every single part of it reroots. And I've been burning buckets of it, and it's just a whole thing. I'm gonna identify it and talk about it in my future garden tour. We're having a conversation about black or clear plastic. I think it's about the temperature of the sun, really, is what you need. Hot sun. Oh, here's the total. 3,400. Okay, so let's do some math, Bowtie. How many do you average a week in watch hours? And how many weeks would it take you to get 600? Because I know you want it like tomorrow, right? Oh, here we go. Wickershire cracks knuckles. Okay, so YouTube community gardens that look epic. I'll explain that one fast. One company, one show with pro growers to get you to click. If it looks pretty, it isn't real. Thank you, Wickershire. Oh, the Hugel Culture Mound is featured over at Food Forest Permaculture. You get to see the wonderful diversity happening there. Check it out. Some of my sunflowers are starting to open CR, all the volunteers. I didn't plant a single one, and I found out I have a compost pile plant growing in the alley that I'm going to try and train so it doesn't get ran over. It's like a pumpkin or a squash or something. Bowtie comes in with the macronutrients essential for plant growth and gardening are nitrogen, N, phosphorus, P, potassium, K, calcium, Ca, magnesium, Mg, and sulfur, yes, S. CR says they doing the leave down thing now. The leave down, I don't know what that's about. That was at 10:49, 10 minutes ago almost. Okay, Bowtie comes in with the micronutrients essential for plant growth and gardening are boron, B, chlorine, Ci, copper, Cu, iron, Fe, manganese, Mn, molybdenum, Mo, and zinc, Zn. Cardboard and mulch. Richard, welcome to the conversation. Kind of sharing how I process and prepare to go garden because I garden away from home. So I've showed my caddy that's always packed, and I'm trying to get through the chat so I can see if there's anything else on my checklist I need to talk about because I know I want to ask you guys what your garden harvest containers look like because I'm not proud of mine, but it works. Oh, Bowtie says DeWitt Sunbelt ground cover is good stuff. I use it a lot, but not good for solarizing, I don't think. Oh, just use plain heavy metal plastic. Well, I need to order some more mill plastic anyways. Um, isn't it cool, right? Like, I so appreciate that she did that. Like, she had wrote out what she wanted to plant in the garden. It would have been the garden the year she died. And so, like, we incorporated that plan, obviously, that year. That was last year that we did that garden. Food forest permaculture did seed saving today on kale, Chinese cabbage, and many types of poppies. Our poppies are going to seed right now. I just weeded that bed, the wildflower bed, the poppies. Here at home, part of the container tour is the things that I have going to seed in it that I'm saving. So it looks gnarly and a mess. And I haven't came up with a plan on what I'm going to put in there when I take all the seeds out, seed pods. So we'll see. Jay says to Howie, tomorrow I would do that for 2 local garden plots. Radio Jonesy says, gee, your children have been drawing on your arms and shoulders. This is Rose Mollying. Heritage. Oh, tags. Use foil tags. I hate tags in general. I hate picking them up at the end of the year. Yeah, it's so cool. Plus, I have her handwriting. You know what I mean? How important that is when someone's passed. It's actually her birthday today. Wickershire says, we plant 15 to 20 various herbs and veggies here. Truth is, some will grow, others will not. We do not force what doesn't want to be here. This year it's spaghetti, squash, tomatoes, basil, peppers. I'm assuming there's more to this list. But I don't see a comment from you right away, so I'll have to keep going. So Bochai's suggesting Cool Runner metal plant labels. There are aluminum plant tags. Thank you. CR says we are in the right zone here. Oh, announcement from Jay, everybody. Today I bought 2 apple trees. Went with a friend who had an orchard in the past. Big news for a small space. Did you share later on what kind? Botai says those metal foil plant labels will last for years. They're great. Well, then I have to pick them up. What I am doing now, like with the watermelon landrace adaptation agriculture patch, I just wrote on a piece of paper what watermelon is in which part of the patch. And it's in one of my, I don't have one here with me. I have these sheets that are plastic that you put paper in that I use with my kids. Like I have a whole pack of them and I use them all the time. And you don't even want to know how many clipboards I own. Dave Knight says, I found some farm journals from my grandfather from 1926. I still use some of his tools to garden still. I love that. Bochai is admitting that the problem with my watch hours is that I'm losing off the back end already. Yes, I have been warned about that from all of the wise, more experienced, older, mature is the word, YouTubers, and I'm really trying to race against that. October is my year, so next goal is 4,000 by October. Okay, Botai says, Shawnee Grows, tell us about the first reason in your 15 minutes away garden. Oh, season. What? Okay. Tell us about the first season in your 15 minutes away garden. What surprised you most? Oh, you would think that I would understood that the thing up here doesn't actually happen out in the garden because I had gardened, years before that, but I still was surprised that it didn't turn out the way I thought it would in my head. The weeds were insane. This is the spot that has all the situation that's happening because I didn't have all the new spaces. I had started my food forests the first year, the first season. So I was trying to take care of too much. The weeds, what? Here in town, I didn't have to weed anything. Like I had done cardboard and compost and would top dress it, and like there'd be like a handful of weeds and everything else was like it was so easy to garden here in town. It got warm quick. Out there it's 2 weeks difference of when the soil is the right temperature. The wind out there is nutso compared to here in town. I mean everything. Everything. To drag a hose across, long distance compared to here was physical. Um, I was excited to have that space though. To like I could easily come up with stuff to put in it, but will it grow or not? I was realizing there isn't a whole lot of sun anymore in the original garden because the trees are all mature. They're big. They were planted, you know, when I was little, so everything was do not apply sun to garden soil. Pro tip from Jay. Zombie prepper, what's up? CR says Shawnee leaves hang low. After the sun sets, more till morning still. Mother Earth Garden Club. Welcome to me talking about gardening. Hmm. Howie planted ginger in potters. Oops, today, and we'll finish them off in the window. I need to feed my ginger and turmeric. They're in containers in the shade, doing well, but they're hungry. That was a big exhale from the dog. He doesn't want me talking, possibly. Go to your room then, buddy. You don't need to be here. Botai says, my YouTube channel is my notes to be passed on to the next gardener on this property when I am gone centuries from now. They will see everything I did every single month in detail. It's a good point. Wickershire, I won't throw anyone under the table, but I know of 5 or 6 huge garden channels that order their for the show plants to film while they talk about planting and growing. The one that I saw that had a good community garden experience was the one I talked about yesterday. I have their book, Homegrown, Hand Gathered, and now they went and bought land with a friend and they garden on land now. They don't community garden anymore. Yeah, Radio Jonesy, you better work. I have to work. I'll be right back soon. Keep it playing. Wickershire Project Off Grid. 1 month they go from seeds to harvesting. Very suspicious. Yes. Bochai says the aluminum foil plant tags, you don't write on them. They get indented with your pen or pencil and they stay that way forever. That would be for perennial plants. Well, I don't use a pen or a pencil on my plant tags. I have a garden marker, which is over there in my room. I could have brought that to the show and tell if you want to know what brand it is, because it's not a Sharpie. Tammy Harder says, nice J apple trees are something that I would love to have. Mature YouTubers, you calling me old? I was told the other day by someone, not directly. Where was I? I don't remember. Was it Emmanuel? I don't remember. To not use the word old. No, it wasn't Emmanuel. It was the guy he interviewed. I've been on his channel. Grow Up? Whatever that channel is. Remember? You guys were there. Bowtie was there and Jay was there. That last one, that guy, he said to use mature gardeners, mature YouTubers. Yeah, clipboard for every plant. Wink. I don't know how many I have off the top of my head, but it's a lot. Bowtie's like, I'll never get my crowns back. I'm number 10 on the XP. That's pretty low for you. Wow. Okay, Apple News from Jay. I have a 5-year-old dwarf Gravestein. Bought bargain Macintosh and Golden Delicious today. Ooh, I'm eyeing at peach, cherry, and pear. Do it. Dave says, I dug new potatoes from the garden today. Delicious. Mother Earth Garden Club says, I wish I knew someone who wants grapes. There will be so many when they get ready. I mean, are you in um Facebook Marketplace? I don't know. Hey, I have grapes. Bowtie comes in with a question. Let's see if I can answer it. Have you given your remote garden a name? No. And I'm not good with creativity so much now that I'm a mom for some reason. It's like, who has time for creativity? I'd have to just have a conversation with ChatGPT because it knows how I think, right? No, I'm just kidding. I would ask it, but not because it knows how I think. Uh, and then I would ask my husband and then see what he says. And he would be like, I don't care. I don't know. He names his things like, no, he names his vehicles. Don't take that out of context. He has 2 vehicles and he's not here in the chat, so I can talk about him all I want, but he'll watch the replay and then get at me on it. Food Forest Permaculture says my apple trees are loaded and hanging down. I watch deer eat every evening now on apples, glads, lilies, and squash. My lilies are open. You're going to see that in the tour. Glads are not. Apple trees have not flowered. This is year 2. I've had them in my possession in the land. And then the squash plants, um, the bush, like zucchini squash, it's Magda, is producing fruit. So it had a flower, but the pumpkin gourd stuff is still doing infrastructure. It's still vining. Oh, that's a funny statement, Jay. Gravenstein is heavily pregnant this year. Mother Earth Garden Club. I use my channel to see what does well so I can improve every succeeding year. That's how I found Homesteading Road, Homesteading RD. I think that's the channel name. But she's a different zone technically in Minnesota. But I'm listening to what tomato varieties she's putting in and what stuff grows for short seasons. Absolutely. And how does she have it set up? I love her chicken netting, electric chicken netting to keep anything out of the garden out in her country property. Dan, I was like, who are these names? Danny is the owner of Grow Up. Okay, then it was him. If it was Grow Up, that I'm pretty. Is that was yeah. He was talking about it. Radio Jonesy says we have the perfect weather for apples. By the way, I'm back. Welcome back. Bowtie is digging potatoes tomorrow after the dentist appointment and a nap and a blood draw for tests across town right afterwards. And a nap. Tammy Harder says, well, I may not have apple trees, but I do have homemade cheesecake and fresh raspberries. We are picking raspberries right now and whipped cream. Mother Earth Garden Club, I learned a trick to remove squash bugs, eggs on zucchini. The duct tape. Yeah. So you take the tape, I don't have any next to me. You wrap it around your hand, but the sticky side is out. And then you can do this on the leaf to get the eggs off. We did see Japanese beetles today on raspberries. And what was the other one? It was something in a food forest. Usually they're on the roses. And I didn't get the cup out with the soapy water. I just said, another day. Another day I will do it. Yeah, all your vehicles are named. Mine, I don't think mine has a name, but his 2, pretty sure have names. So Bowtie says that the previous work truck was Dudley. Current identical truck, Dudley Jr. Mrs. Bowtie's Prius is Leela. My old tractor was Onslow. BBC character from Keeping Up Appearances. Thanks for sharing. Dave says, when the garden is caught up, it is time to go camping in my van down by the river. Oh, that's so fun. It's hard for me, for my van. It has car seats in it, so I usually bring a tent. We sleep in the tent. But my husband's van, he sleeps in when he needs to travel. Not because of me. The Homesteading Road. Yeah, Minnesota gardener. Your raspberries are almost done. Ours are just now coming in to ripeness. Oh no, he's too crown too. Someone take that away. So last week's Growing Generations podcast episode had Grow Up on it, and it was great. I liked it. It made me go check out how he grows on his allotment, which it looks huge how much stuff he has on it. Howie says, I will be in a old logging camp next week and the fruit trees grow wild. I will put up a vid. Can't wait. Bowtie wants to know if I answered this. How do you handle irrigation or pest control when you can't be there every day? With grace and forgiveness. And you pray that it's going to rain. Okay, so irrigation isn't ran the way I want it to be ran. There is a plan. So there's one hydrant that has a splitter with two hoses, and you can't run them both at the same time. There's not enough psi to run water fast enough for my brain to be happy. So I do have one hose drug all the way down to the original garden. One hose is drug and can reach warm crop garden, new wildflower space, watermelon patch, old wildflower space. The two food forests, unless I put another hose on another hose on another hose, I can't get water to there. I literally take 5-gallon buckets and put it in a gorilla cart and haul it in. That's like we're going to water some trees. Seriousness. Otherwise, everything else is just left to be on its own. If you don't make it, you don't make it at that point. So, instead of hand like wanding everything like I would at my house, where you can like be with your garden and observe plants and look for pests and eggs, I set up a sprinkler and water and then do a task at the same time instead of standing there and holding the hose. Now, there are times where that's okay. I see your comment down here. 5-gallon buckets, egats? Well, I need to lose weight somehow. Um, the pest control. So the new space that I love that's growing very well, by the way, is my warm crop space. That's where we had the cover crops last year. I have so much stuff crammed in there with diversity that I haven't seen any problems with pests. The food forests, I feel like if a pest comes in, hopefully a beneficial predator will come in and get it. I have a lot of things in place to bring stuff in, like different flowers, and I don't have a beetle bunk. I didn't build a beetle bunk. That's like a big log area, but I have the wood chips. So I watch for pests, definitely. I My huge method is, hey kids, here's a cup with soapy water. They know how to identify the pests that we could catch. Like we can't really catch a squash vine borer. Those are tricky before they lay their eggs. And that's just you perform surgery and bury all the roots, touches. You bury all the contact points and just hope for the best. If I were to see something more serious, we'll take it at that point. My concern is harvest time. I might have to go out there every day, definitely before a rain. Like, I don't want tomatoes splitting, for example. I don't want zucchini squashes or cucumbers getting too big because that's annoying. It's peas are coming into harvest right now, so we've actually been there 2 days in a row to harvest peas, but there isn't going to be any ready tomorrow, and we're going to get rain. Um, and then I have a rain barrel. So, like, I have access to that I could use to build a bucket of fertilizer with. So, like, I'll take a 5-gallon bucket, put rainwater in it, add fish emulsion, and the plan is to add worm castings and compost in my little satchel things that I showed, and then put it in a watering can, and then hand water. to fertilize everything, which can you tell why I haven't done that yet? Because that's a lot. I also have a sprayer, like this kind, tiny, that you pump and you do, because my big vision was foliar feeding. So guess what we talked about? The property owner has a tractor. So possibly next year we could just have how many gallons is it? The tank, the water tank that goes on a tractor. So I've had many jobs. I used to work for the city and I drove a tractor with the water tank and I watered all the flowers downtown every day, twice a day, however many times we needed to do it. And that one ran off the PTO. Depending on how high up you had it, the faster the water would come out. And the one that would go on the tractor at the garden would be a little different. It sounded like. And I said, huzzah! I could liquid nutrient drench everything and just drive the tractor to all the gardens. So it's not bought yet, but man, that would be so cool to fertilize with the tank on the tractor. You know what I'm saying? I gotta figure out where I left off. There's that. Okay, sorry if that was. Did that make any sense? Radio Jonesy says, "Did you film anything for a video, or are you like the rest of us in YouTube land and say maybe next time I will film?" I filmed as much as I could today, and my phone's full. Like storage went full, and I have the Butterfly Memorial Garden to film, the West Food Forest, and then the terrible No for Good, I'm gonna burn it down garden to film. All the other gardens are filmed. Bowtie has a question. How do you decide when it's worth making the drive out? If I have the energy and it's not noon and hot as you know what out? What's the threshold for I need to go? So when it's planting time, there is no hesitation. My caddy is packed the night before with seeds in hand, and I'm out there. And the weather's fine. It's not crappy out. If there's rain in the forecast, I'm out there planting. I literally explode inside with joy knowing that rain is coming and I can go plant some seeds. But now everything's full pretty much. There's like I have some fall crops that I'm starting in the house because outside sucks and it's terrible and I can't keep baby plants alive right now outside, so they're in the house. So how do I decide when it's time? Usually my body tells me. The weather tells me. We'll see how harvest time goes. That is going to be the other like I don't care, you're going. Right? To fertilize, this is why this hasn't happened. To fertilize, it has to happen at night. It has to be when the sun is going down to foliar feed or soil drench. And guess what I'm doing at night? Supper, bedtime routine, and I work from home at night. At what point am I going to spend 3 hours walking around 11 gardens feeding everything? Now, a lot of the times it's in shifts. 3 gardens this day, 3 gardens this day, right? I know a simple solution to this. It's work when I get home and trust my spouse with the routine, but he also has a life and a routine, and he hasn't been available, so. The Wickershire Project, I was thinking about starting a new channel called The Angry Gardener, and then lose my mind and yell at everything in a heavy Scottish accent and stuff fails. I kind of like that idea. I hope you're still here, and I hope you hear me say, do it! Dave Knight, I use Walmart when traveling far, open 24/7, and you don't need reservations. You never got in trouble doing that? Wow. We have different rules here, I feel like. Yes, picking every day, every other day for the... And then you'll secretly want to wear a kilt. Don't you already own one? Bowtie has a question. Other than 5-gallon buckets on the gorilla cart, what are some clever workarounds or hacks you've had to invent for remote gardening? Well, I don't have hired help. That would be cool. Well, I mean, I did say I pay my kids to weed by the bucket and to harvest peas because they enjoy it, because then they eat it. I didn't get any that day, that's for sure. It's all about doing it in chunks. Like today, I um, weeded the wildflower bed, which I had some help with. I would throw the weeds to them and they'd put it in the bucket, and then they helped me dump the bucket in the fire pit because we're burning the weeds, because these are the evil weeds. Um, and I chopped and dropped, surprise, spoiler alert, I chopped and dropped that stuff that I talked about in the pepper patch, which took longer than expected. And then that was all I could do. I looked to see if anything needed help on a trellis, and I ignored the terrible burn it down garden, and I peeked at the raspberries, and then it was time to go home. And that's okay. Was there other stuff that could have been done? Absolutely. So like a workaround or hack for remote gardening is just don't beat yourself up for not getting the list done, because you'll never get it done. Barry has a technicality here. Walmart is not open 24/7. Jay is sending out a friendly reminder to Wickershire that YouTube might have some issues with his idea. Howie is eating fresh picked blueberries. My blueberries were in containers, and I decided to put them in the ground. So now they're kind of like, they were put in the ground last year. They have some adjusting to do. Oh, good night, and thank you for sharing your schedule. Uh, I'll see you around somewhere, Mother Earth. Oh my goodness, you're on lunch at 2:11? I've been working outside since 8. I need to reconsider my employment or maybe retirement. Well, I thought you were only going to do like 3 days a week. And why is lunch at 2? That's just not right. Richard, you're upset with the council. We live in a floral kingdom. Tourists visit from worldwide to look at the flowers. The council sprayed all the sidewalks with glyphosate. What? What? Oh my goodness, Richard. It'll be so thick, his accent. Uh, who knows what you'll be grunting about? That's hilarious. Barry, no. And I let Walmart know about it too, but you can't change the corporate mind. Oh, don't forget to mail Jay some grapes. Bow tie. Yeah, I wanted to have like a list prepared for this question because I knew it would come up. I don't think I have anything in my banners that answer this question. Let me just read this for a second here. Planning and routine. Set a visit schedule, watering, harvesting, etc. Arrange backup help. Well, that's not really a thing because I'm controlling and don't trust anybody. Tracking sun exposure and weather. I definitely analyze weather multiple times a day. I love my weather radio. I love looking at storm trackers to see what's happening where the garden is, because it's different weather. There'll be times where the garden will get half an inch of rain and my house will get 2 inches of rain. There's that much of a difference. I kind of talked about how we tackle different things in different quadrants of it and different days. Um, Logging the planting, we talked about journaling and stuff. There's no community there. Okay, plant selection, choosing low maintenance, drought tolerant crops, prioritize quick growing or easy to harvest plants, including pollinator friendly flowers. Avoiding crops that need daily attention unless you're close by, adding a perennial to or two if allowed, herbs, berries. So I definitely was like team perennials all the way because I don't need to be there unless it's like it's new and it needs water or harvest time. So that was an easy decision. I have lettuce growing out there. Like that's something that you can pick often. Um, I had to plant some herbs here because not having herbs at home is driving me nuts. But I have a lot of herbs there that are the perennial category. So it's sage, oregano, thyme, mint are in the ground in the food forest. The cilantro, oh, parsley is in there too. Cilantro, basil are in the annual crop bed. Those are things I have to plant every year. Um, all my radish went to seed. Like I did get to pick a handful of radish. There was two problems. One, I didn't thin them out. Two, they weren't bulbing up. And three, then they went to seed, which I leave. I like the seed pods, so they're still in there. But that's something that would bother people. Somebody's leaving. I think I just saw. I don't know. This thing jumped. Maybe not. I also figure out where. Feel free to pick and choose the questions. What is this one? What's the biggest challenge you face managing an offset garden? I don't know. Um, I think this is where we left off. Things, so the first I started with perennials, then I went into stuff I can't grow here because of space. So corn, I chose popcorn. Uh, Squash, pumpkins. And it instantly was like those are getting grown out there and it's perfect. Big space. Um, Potatoes. I'm not good at growing onions. You'll see when we harvest nothing that I'm so good at growing onions. There's an onion farm in like 2 towns away that I can just go get a sack of them. Here, I could only grow a couple tomatoes, a couple cucumbers, a couple, like an arch of dried beans. Out there, it's rows. So, like, I went with that. Now, when it comes harvest time, it is going to be a thing about making it a priority to go out there to get the harvest. Right now, it's just, well, if that's growing on the ground instead of the trellis, whoopee doo. You know, I don't care. I don't have a hard and fast list at the time of talking about this of what not to plant because you're not there. Um, Sorry. What is this? I'll just build a seed starting table called the death bench. At least my expectations are laid out early. Yes, a tank on the tractor, absolutely. They sprayed your flowers too? Bye bye Cosmos, Flanders poppies, and Caligula flowers. Calendula, maybe? Caligula? The first thing to do when there's a pesticide spray, which is too late now, is instantly wash them. But yeah, that's like for that specific glyphosate, that's terrible. You can plant sunflowers to help clean out the soil and then get rid of them. Don't eat from them. Don't keep them in the compost. Don't chop and drop them. But sunflowers will clean the space. You can make a compost tea with worm castings, compost, even biochar, and like soil drench this space that we're talking about here to help clean it out quicker and then replant. CR is going to go at the bottom of the hour. You might be gone already. I don't know what time this was. Oh, here. J to Bowtie and Shawnee grows. Shawnee pets tiny seedlings. Love yes, gotta go by now. Oh, this is what I saw when I thought somebody was. You know what we do, you guys? When we're leaving, I go really slow down the driveway, and I'm like, okay, everybody, say goodbye to. Like it was the tulips at one point. Say goodbye to the tulip. Now it's just plants. There's plants everywhere. Say goodbye to the plants. We get one last look at them, you know. So Aaron on Garden Answer has some really fantastic information on their tank on it. Oh, it's electric that we want. Yep. And we're talking like, I don't know, 500 gallons or something. A huge tank. But for me to be able to put fertilizer in it, liquefied, and spray it, that's where I'm like, yes, please. I don't care how much it costs, you know. Blueberries are gone. No. Radio Jonesy says, awesome. Looking forward to seeing your new videos. Yeah, it takes time. It takes me at least 3 days to get one together. That's why I like live streams. Yeah, okay, so what's a stick for the action cam? Memory stick? Do you have an action cam? Is that the drone or is an action cam like a what's that one point of view? First person point of view or whatever? I mean, I do everything from my phone, so yeah, it gets full fast and I have to clean it out once a month. Bowtie says, "Nice. I planted a lot of flower seeds last couple of weeks when rain was coming." Yeah. I'm trying to. I need to go online and figure out what's the quickest flower I could grow right now because I have some space opening up and it's stressing me out to have it not be planted. So I was gonna look at flowers because I don't want to go buy transplants of annuals that are gonna die in 3 months. I want to just throw some seeds in that might reseed and come back next year. You know what I mean? Oh, your red velvet sunflowers are going to open tomorrow, Howie. I have some that are peeking open now that were the volunteers. All the ones that I direct sowed out at the garden are like way not even close to flowering. I'm a little worried. Ant's place is awake. Hey, hey. Wickershire says, Shawnee, I made 3 gallons of sealed anaerobic tea. It's over 2 years now. Yeah. Oh, you cracked it open once and said never again. I'm getting brave as we'll need it soon. Only natural. So they'll run out of food and they'll stop. I mean, if it's 2 years old, if you make that anaerobic tea, I have to put cream on a bug bite possibly here. Um, and you seal it up and you stop feeding it, the microorganisms are going to run out of food and it's not going to stink anymore at some point. So you might be, if you haven't put any more matter in it and it's just been closed for 2 years, it probably doesn't smell anymore. Your knee tells you when it's gonna rain. My husband has been in a lot of car accidents. Um, so we have that same barometer. um, Bowtie says Garden Answer also did a good episode a couple years ago on working through their beds throughout a week. Now they have staff. The blackberries are coming ripe, and it's amazing to see so much, and no one tended to them. Yeah, the whole perennial game is like life changing. I here at the rental garden, I did put strawberries and raspberries in, which was kind of a, you know, risk. Like to get them all dug up before I leave probably isn't going to happen. The next person will be blessed with them, I guess, right? But yeah, it's so fun to have food grow and you didn't do anything. You just did stuff that one year. Thank you for summarizing. Half acre of blackberries ripening right now, Barry says. Bring your buckets. Oh, Marianne Bimler? Hello, hello. That reminds me, if you guys haven't answered this question yet, so I also have to take stuff out to the garden and to put the harvest in, and then I bring it home and then I have to remember to take it back to get the harvest. You know what I mean? And I wish I had some beautiful something. I don't know. You know how they have all those like wooden or weaved or whatever. I have plastic. Okay, I'm sorry that it's gonna touch my food, but my kids each get one of these and they have holes in them to let the dirt fall out, and you can literally rinse it or dump it in a bucket of water and take it out, and the food's still in it. Okay. And then this, I could put greens in with some water. It's not pretty, but it works. And then it just sits by the door with my stuff. And it gets taken to the van when I start it for to turn the air on. So tell me what vessels you use. You know what else I have? I have you ever seen the crates for tulips that like flower farmers have? They're black and they have holes in them. I have those too. Somebody got them for me at a garage sale. Tucked by V1, a wild Florida man appears. Hey, oh, I love that picture too. Forest all the way. What's this question? What moment or harvest made all the effort feel 100% worth it? That hasn't happened yet. Last year sucked. I haven't had that yet. Nothing went right last year for harvest. This year it looks very promising though. Like the best thing I grew last year were pumpkins, and I don't even eat those. It's just for looks. For my kids love smashing them and opening them and collecting the seeds. They love that. What's this say? Worcestershire, so our blackberries are almost done for the year. I can only get at 10% of them. Oh, the thorned variety. Well, and I think if I remember right, you showed in your video the giant wall of them. Looks like I was in a fight with barbed wire after picked for the day. They don't have a tool that helps you with that situation. Radio Jonesy, busy, 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 and no one wants to work outside this time of year. You poor thing. I've already planned Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday off, and will be home, sitting by the fire, put your feet up, eating whatever your favorite meals are. Jay says to Shawnee and Bowtie, I had remote gardens in the past and it was a real struggle. I mean, a lot can happen. A lot can happen in 12 hours, in 24 hours, in 3 days, in a week. I mean, I've had where I didn't go there for a week. Your whole thing could have been eaten by something, right? It's a huge, like, risk I'm taking by not being able to have eyes on it every day, right? What, Anne? You had a whopping 104 degrees yesterday, and thank goodness they say today will be cooler. I think I remember reading about your area having a heat wave, and I wondered how you were doing. Wow. I can't even do like 85 is too hot for me, you guys. Pair of pruners will get you access to the blackberries. You're smarter than blackberries, Bill. Yeah, the pruners are normally in here, but they're sitting on a tote in the van. Two different kinds that I also didn't clean. The cells that happen in Florida for bow tie, subtropical cells or storms all the time. I have seen 2 inches here and sun at the church building 4 blocks away. Yeah, the difference in what happens. Tucked by V1, wife and I briefly discussed remote gardens this evening, though I didn't use that most excellent term. I know that something that I don't have is fencing. Nothing is fenced. So like let's say I was to go buy some land and then still live in my rental home and just use this land to garden until we like have the money to develop the land, let's say, that would be bad. Like I would have to get like electric poultry netting and guard the whole fence area for me to trust that that would work. Where this situation, the property that I'm growing on, I kind of know, like there's somebody's dog that's been coming because I found its scat. There's coyotes for sure. Anytime we leave a rodent on top of earth, it disappears within 8 hours. And there's crows, there was bunnies. We had another bunny situation. There was bunnies and squirrels. But if it was like a brand new land where I didn't know anything and it's very wild where stuff comes in and out of there, I wouldn't even trust growing food unless it was hunkered Fort Knox down, you know what I mean? Like trail cam. I would have a trail cam in that situation. The situation I have now, I'm not allowed to have one. Yeah, the motivation thing was a big change. Like I have to drive there. Yeah. It's so much easier to care for my wild garden here at home. Like, it doesn't matter what I have on, it doesn't matter what time of day, it doesn't matter what, like, you just go look at it and water it and come back in. He's still sitting there. Cam. Pigeon peas. Is there another word for pigeon peas? Or is pigeon peas pigeon peas? Because if so, no. I have cow peas that I'm growing. What's this one? Oh, well, like, think of what so the question, I'll read it out loud. Do you think there are more people out there who could benefit from remote gardening if they just knew how? I have a lot of answers for this, I feel like, off the top of my head, so I'll try to make it quick. I'm not sure how behind I am. I'm probably 28, 38, I'm almost 20 minutes behind on the chat, and I might have to go get more water. But I have nowhere to be, so I'm going to keep talking. Okay, so when you ask somebody, why don't you have a garden? What do they tell you? I don't have time. I don't have space. Maybe it's I don't know what I'm doing, or I tried and I killed something. you know. So, for the whiners that are like, I don't have any space. Yeah, we should have more available access to gardens away from home. Now, what isn't that a community garden? Yeah, but I I think there should be bigger spaces than a community garden for one individual or a group to go grow on. There's so much grassland everywhere. Don't even tell me like your town's perfect and you guys don't have grass, wasted space that like the whole parks, churches, don't get me started. Anyways, yes. Is it different? Yeah. You would need a coach, just like any other thing. You would need a buddy. You would need to practice and fail to benefit from remote gardening if they knew how. Here's my other part to this. The experience, and this is a book that I don't think I showed yesterday because I'm not happy with it. And it might just be because they used a bad publisher, but here's the gist. It's a market garden style. So, I mean, thousands of plants are in this space, but you pay a membership fee to have access to it when it's open, and then you pay for the produce that you picked. It's a you pick market garden. So, you can go there and get your brain on gardening because you're in the garden, you're at the plant picking it. It's not pre-picked, it's not pre-washed, it's not pre-bagged. So that farmer doesn't have to do any of that. The farmer just has to get it growing and keep it alive. They're making thousands in the growing season, however many months that is for them. So like would you want that? Anybody in the chat, would you pay a membership fee to have access to a market garden to go and you pick and then you have to pay somehow? I don't know how it's set up. Like I said, I'm still trying to get through the book, which you know how it is. I said yesterday in the book conversation how fast I can get through books right now in my life is not fast at all. That also to me is a remote garden. My nose is itching. What advice would you give someone considering a garden that isn't right outside the door? The planning of things that you don't need to look at it every day and take care of it. Which I don't have that list off the top of my head right now. Like for sure the squash and pumpkins would qualify. My nose is really itchy for that. Transplants are really nice because they're strong. Where like a seedling can get chewed up, ate up, stepped on, dried out really fast, right? Um, having your plan really helps. Understanding the land, understanding what you're going to do for trellising. I like growing vertically. I don't know what you said, so cool. Take care. Radio likes my tea from the supermarket. Oh, is that your? I don't know. Caligula. Iris. Oh, okay. 500 gallons, yes. And they apply fertilizer on their garden. Answer. Tractor tank cart on garden. Answer. It's really fancy. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I want. I'll have to check it out. I don't know that channel. I wondered if it was like a GoPro. Thank you, Radio Jonesy. If Storms said something. Howie went to bed already. I'm sure by now. Good night. Some pigeon pea is a bush. Okay. Yeah. Zinnias. Nasturtium. Zinnias. Yeah, I have zinnias planted already. I don't think I have any left. I'd have to go buy some. So, an excuse to go to the seed store? Why not? Cover crop everything and just let it chill. Okay, so Bowtie says, question, if you could go back and give yourself one tip before starting your remote garden, what would it be? To like, don't just shove a bunch of stuff in it. Like, let the weeds grow and then take care of them somehow and then plant. Because, man, the weed thing is crazy. And as far as mulching to keep weeds away, that's a different conversation. It's a lot harder out there. It's a lot of space. I don't have sources I trust. I don't have money I want to dump into things. I'm trying to look into more things to chop and drop. I want to do living pathways to grow my own mulch. Did I get that far? No. Um, Storms, radios, and cats. A 30-watt solar panel and charge controller on the pump will extend the battery life before needing charged. And yes, the 4K action camera has a tripod, which is too big to haul around the yard. You don't have a wagon? You have a wagon. Bowtie says most gardeners just step outside. Shawnee Girls has to drive hers every time. Bowtie says, can you manage a thriving garden you don't see every day? Shawnee can. Bowtie says when Shawnee says she's going out to the garden, she means put snacks and check the oil. Yeah. Uh-huh. And I have 3 kids, so it's did you bring your backpack with your clothes? Because you always magically need to change your clothes. Barometer babe. Anne says that my containers look handy to harvest. Well, when it gets real serious, I'm hoping to just fill some buckets. You know, like a 5-gallon pail. What is yours? Okay, Botai says my harvest bucket is an orange plastic bucket that straps around my waist. It's cheap and chipped. I have the kangaroo pouch, but I haven't had a reason to use it yet. Plastic bucket, says Tammy. I have plastic bins. Like there's one just sitting right here for everything. For my kids' school. I have medical. I have a whole medical shelf I use plastic bins for. Their shoe bins are plastic technically, but they're the ones with holes in them. The birds got to the berries. I'd be really anxious to put up a fence for a remote garden. Yeah, I think like anybody outside of my situation would have to. But because of I already know what comes in and out of there, and there is traffic per se, it's in the country, that's all I can say, but I've had damage from animals, yeah, definitely. Oh no, Anne, you're not sleeping because of the heat? You told us the other day that you weren't sleeping. So that's still happening. I'm so sorry. The daughter-in-law we traveled with on the last cruise with her husband, your son, I guess, reminds me and Mrs. Bote of you so much. You've told me that before, so you just reiterated that. Mannerisms, looks, everything. Sisters. Yeah, I don't have a sister, so sure. That's cool. I appreciate you sharing that. It's a little weird to know that there's like a doppelganger person that I'm never gonna meet because I don't travel, right? There's no Wi-Fi at the garden. Fun fact. If I could work there, that'd make a difference. It's yes, that's correct. Ooh, Tuck by V. 1. I would start my remote garden with plants that aren't easily identified as edible. Ooh, by regular folks passing by. Interesting. That's a really good strategy. I like that. But you're saying folks are passing by your remote garden? You can see my garden from a road, but people usually aren't looking. There's no remote control. Bowtie's making jokes about my dog. And I don't trust drip irrigation. I probably never will use drip irrigation, okay? Yes, thank you, Jay. So much wasted urban space that could make food. Yeah. Here, here. What? It's not remote gardening, it's agricultural long distance dating. Here we go. Richard, Benny, my neighbor, always liked an apartment and had a container garden. Yeah, now has a house with a garden. Oh, he graduated up in life, totally enjoying his gardening, and it's beautiful. There you go. I would pay in theory if my income were higher. Okay, so Jay says, Shawnee Grows, I would not pay for market garden harvesting. I have been paid agricultural labor and ran a landscaping business. Yeah, you have a whole different perspective of it, right? So Tuck by V, you would pay to have a membership to the market garden if you had the funds for it. Like it sounds great. There's hair on me again. Stop it. Tammy left. Bye. That was 10 minutes ago. Oh, tea jokes from Radio Jonesy. You were talking about compost tea, but I prefer tea like Lipton's or something. No, 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 not Lipton's. Radio Jonesy, you need to have herbal teas. Real tea. Anne's gonna go have breakfast. Thanks. Eat your breakfast. Okay, this is the camera. Wolfang GA420 camera is actually better than a GoPro and much cheaper in my own. A lot of people say GoPro is CRAP. Well, okay, this is funny to bring up. The passenger seat, you can't put a person in because it's full of gardening things. There's actually a bag of soil in my van because I needed to bring the potting soil that was in the shed back home with a tray and 6 cells because I have plugs that need to be uppotted. And I needed to bring all of it back here because it got loaded back out. Like it's a whole thing. And so now it still hasn't been uppotted. It's just sitting in my van. The plants are fine. The stuff is still in the van. Well, I'm sorry that you don't have a wagon. You need one. Bowtie has lots of funny things in the chat. Okay, Outback Tasmania says, check out my new icon, and it's my new sticker. Why does he have a jacket? Is that... I need to go get some water. So, sorry, but I don't have anything cool to play while I do that. Maybe in the future. In case you're wondering, I got juice instead. um, Machete gardening sounds like a growing horror flick. I'd pay to watch that under the covers. I don't have a machete. I hear it's a really good gardening tool. I hear something. It's the mosquito sprayer truck. Vroom. It's gotta be. They're spraying chemicals right now outside. I have all the windows closed. You invite people to pick out of your garden? Bowtie says a dozen kids walking home from school would hit the strawberry patch. Well, that makes sense. Yeah, I would like help picking that. And now it is okra out there. Somebody was selling, not somebody, it's a store. What are they called? Dried okra chips or something? I'm not trying that. Wickershire Project. Things we excel at here on the Shire. Raising ticks and mosquitoes in mass numbers. Yeah, I have lots of those at the garden. Jay says, Shawnee Grows, a local person made a Depression era garden that was featured in media. Like the whole, from the layout to the crops list. That's amazing. Okra regularly, something about basil on the run, camera talk. I just use my phone. I had neighbors steal some produce and I wasn't happy about it. That was this here where I live because, like, I only have so much. Don't be taking my stuff. If you want something, just let me know. I'll figure it out. What does this say? You should queue up some of your old short vids. Oh, when I go off the okay. I went to do like so I'm on StreamYard, the free version, and I went to Media Assets and Video Clips to play one the other day, and I think maybe it was just because I wasn't live yet. It was saying like I have to pay for that service now, and I was like, "What?" So I'm not going to try it right now, but I get it. That's a good idea. What else is in my banners? Create a shared harvest plan with working with others. Take photos. Pack light but smart. Grow something just for joy. Okay, that was all the. There wasn't much in there. You're a band. There's this place I can go that you can play music, and if for some reason you get dinged, you just show them the license. There's a license to download. If I had that queued up, I could have played music, but Bowtie still doesn't have a crown. That's hilarious. Outback Tasmania says, rock music was my life before I moved and turned into a YouTuber. It's just getting old, I think. The rock music or being a YouTuber? Barry shares the passion for Metalhead. Did you see um, the performance by Ozzy in his chair? His last concert or whatever? Bochai says, we have mosquitoes by the gazillions here this year. I'm propagating citronella as fast as I can. Get the plug-in light vacuum that sucks the mosquitoes into the canister. Oh, part of the StreamYard pay service? Yeah, I see. Yeah, I don't know if they changed the media asset to play a clip to only if you pay, because I'm not paying ever. Sorry. I don't want to learn new software. Okay, Bowtie? No. I don't own this computer. I can't download anything. It has to be web-based, and I'm not learning anything new. Sorry. Oh, like share screen. Yeah. Thanks, Barry, for the tip. It was kind of painful to watch. I mean, he was backstage sitting in a chair. It was for sound check, and just hearing him talk and the way he sits, and his wife was with him and stuff. But yeah. Yeah, I'm not even supposed to do this bow tie. This thing I'm doing right here, right now, I'm not even it's supposed to be work only. And I never went and bought anything, and I kind of don't want to anytime soon. Um, so as long as I can get away with it, I am. If for some reason I stop live streaming, it's because I lost my job and don't have this equipment anymore. All of this is not mine. I have like a list wrote out of if I had the desire to go buy a setup, what I would be looking for, but I don't know when I'm gonna do that because plants are more fun to buy than computers, I'll tell you that. So we still have the show about garden decor coming up, and there was some ideas being created. So for sure, put some in the comments or the chat for ideas for future shows. I ran through a suggestion list and I sent it to myself. Let's see here if any of these spark your interest. Uh-oh, Bowtie, I just saw your comment. Let's see, what does this say? Suggestion 1, quick guide to food plot seed populations. Easy planting tips. I don't even understand what that means. Number 2 idea was 5 common gardening mistakes and how to avoid them, which is totally like everybody does one of those. Number 3 is turn rice water into a gardening gold mine for your plants. See, that follows along the lines of the show I want to do about making your own like fertilizers and pest deterrents, and it's all stuff that have been wrote in books and people have done millions of videos on, but it's something that maybe I can present in a different way for people that makes sense. So yeah, this is the comment that I saw over here on the other screen. Bochai is like, oh yeah, your sister, our daughter-in-law, we discovered she's quite the party girl too. Ah, right, Jay, that would be cool. Yeah, then I could just then it would make sense, right? I'd be much more okay with it. Yeah. So this is a laptop with a webcam in it. So I guess the question is would I do that again? Or would I get a desktop with a webcam? Because the other part to this is this thing I sit at, this desk, I take all this down and put it away. And then I put the TV back because the TV's next to me right now. Because it's a little house with no space for anything. So this is a dual purpose. So whatever I get, it has to like get tucked away to put the TV goes here. I'm in the living room. Hello. Okay. It's a whole thing. Or I could just move and buy a house with magical unicorn dollars that fits my family in a comfortable, manageable square footage amount that doesn't have a bad location, that has all of the things on everyone's checklist, that doesn't have crazy property taxes and insurance fees and I'm a little picky. What does this say? Oh yeah, a joke with AdSense for paying for tech. A sponsor. Um, yeah, we'll see if that happens. There's strategies on how to do it a right way to sell yourself to someone, to a company. There's a lot of people that do it the wrong way, I feel like. They kind of aren't getting the most out of what they could for themselves. Botai is speaking about I am heavy into propagating plants for next year. Rosemary, citronella, strawberries, flower seeds, pepper seeds, so many options. Good lesson. Fodder for a live stream. Yeah, plant propagation, you mean, for a live stream? Methods for propagating stuff? Yeah, you and I spoke about that. Because it's not just about one way. Yeah. Yes, we could talk. You could, bow tie, I'm stumbling. You can have a live stream on that too, because you need hours. Are you going to have a live stream about propagating plants, bow tie? Reminder from Jay. I have a goal to get 3,000 watch hours definitely by October. The goal originally was the end of May, I think Bowtie pointed out, and it's July. So, Bowtie says I have a personal playlist with all of her videos that I am playing on a device. Will they ban me for that? Well, I've heard stories like the sound has to be up. You have to interact at some point after so many videos. Kind of like when a service is like, "Are you still watching?" I don't remember which one does that. Bowtie's like, "What do you think I'm testing open source streaming software for?" Yeah, the only things that I'd be comfortable trying outside of StreamYard is EVMux and Restream. I've been involved with those and I would try them. And no, I don't want to do any of that right now. Yeah, Barry, I hear ya. Richard's experiencing another stunning sunrise. Bowtie says, sound is up. I interact about once every 6 to 8 hours. I have tricks. Yeah, like, it's all the stuff I've heard. So then you don't get, like, you don't get, then it'll count and you don't kicked out for, like, being a bot or whatever. Because we're not, I don't, did you get a crown? How do you have a #1 crown all of a sudden? I swear, this XP thing. Okay, so any last questions? I don't even know if I talked about everything. I went through my banners and I did not prepare for this. This was just an inspired um it says 1 on my screen. Oh, it was 2. It went from 3, 2 to 1 all in the same like chunk. Yeah, I don't know. Any questions? I don't think I can give a final sentence of everything cuz I'll just ramble on again about the same stuff I've already said. Like a recap. I have a closing sentence and then we'll shut it down. I don't have a poll. Thank you for answering. What's wrong with being a bot? Jay. Oh my goodness. Bowtie says if Shauna gets her watch hours at 3,000, then everyone can send her super chats and knock me out. Um, yeah, we get memberships, super chats, super stickers. You guys get those things next to your name if you're a member. I don't know what the terms are. And then access to like okay. Oh, Barry, do you want to talk on camera behind the scenes? Do you want to come in to the thing? Or do you want to just um I don't know if you have questions for me or what you're even talking about, but I can send you the link if you want to talk like this. What was I saying? The stickers that you can have. Cuz yeah, I don't think you have access to a store. Does anybody know? Do you have access to a store at that tier or is it when you have AdSense? Cuz I have ideas for I can send it to you, yeah. I have ideas for what to put in my store and I'm not telling anybody because I don't want anybody to steal it. You know what I mean? So badges is the word for your name? Okay. Cuz I'm pretty sure I have it all made already. If I did it right, we won't know until I can play with it and put it on there. But yeah, there's this whole process of, oh, you've reached the goal. Now we need to set up and prove and send you a code and has to be linked to, like money deposit, blah blah blah. None of that's I haven't gotten to that point yet cuz, I have to earn it first. Question mark? Oh, Jay has a wonderful message and it says, "Thanks to all for supporting Shawnee tonight. Yes, this was fun." Um, Bowtie says she's not growing plants, she's running a full-on off-site operation. Pretty soon we'll need a drone cam. That right? But again, that comes into the I'm not allowed to film a lot of stuff on the property. So, and I don't have any kale growing, I don't think. I've been meaning to go to the store and buy some kale seeds, and I don't think I ever did. I like lacinato, the dinosaur kale. Yeah, I don't know what the terms are. Bochai says, I don't know if she's growing food or filming a survival series, but I'm hooked either way. Richard sent me a photo. Okay. Is it of the sunrise? I'm guessing? Not the poison sprayed. Maybe it's the poison sprayed flowers. I want badgers. Angry animals, says Jay, when we get Shawnee's monetized. Graybeard sails. What? She sails 15 minutes yonder, just to plunder weeds. Now, that'd be devotion, matey. Um, yeah, I know. I know. Graybeard also says, we once lost a crew member on the voyage to Shawnee's Squash Patch. The cucumbers are be unforgiving. It's Tuesday sunrise. Okay, Richard, I appreciate that. Graybeard also says they call it a remote garden. I call it the Isle of Time. Um, there's so much I mean, we could have a whole discussion. I'm not going to have it tonight, but we could have a whole discussion on what do I think it needs? Like what's next in the progressive um offsite garden strategy, right? Cuz I'm going to be growing there next year too, right? Like it's not going anywhere. Yes, we're leaving. Time to go to sleep. No parrot, no first mate, just Shawnee and her tools battling the jungle like a one-woman fleet. Yeah, a shovel is your best friend. So remember, gardening isn't just about the space you have. It is about the love and care that you bring to it and what it has with the relationship with your body. Whether it's a borrowed plot, a community space, or a friend's backyard, you can grow wherever you go. Thanks for joining me today, and as always, grow every day in every way.